After 30 years, I finally exposed my stepsister who made my life hell, and now my family knows the truth. I'm a 40-years-old man, in a relationship for over 20 years, with 2 wonderful daughters under 10 years old. I've managed to build a relatively calm life as a lawyer, but it didn't come easy. For most of my life, I was trapped in a living hell created by my stepsister, whom I now call the devil. To give you some background, my biological father died when I was very young, around 5 years old. My mom was left to raise me and my 2 brothers, one older, one younger, on her own. A few years later, she remarried a widower who had a daughter my age. I was around 6 to 8 years old at the time. From the moment our families merged, this girl, my stepsister, decided that my brothers and I had destroyed her life by invading her world. She was hell-bent on ruining us, and her goal was clear: separate her father from my mother so they could live together, just the 2 of them. She took it upon herself to be my constant tormentor. Now, on the surface, you would never know it. In public, she played the role of a sweet, innocent girl, an absolute angel. But behind closed doors, she was pure evil. She fed her father and my mom lie after lie about me and my brothers, making me out to be some kind of monster. Over time, they completely bought into her stories. Meanwhile, I was left wondering why I was the family pariah. Growing up, I was treated like the black sheep, the evil one. The problem? I never really understood why. I was the only one in the family who didn't receive an allowance ever, the only one not allowed to drive, the only one who wasn't sent abroad to study for a year like my brothers, the only one whose friends were not allowed to come to the family house, the one who was constantly beaten. You get the picture. I didn't even get to have a cell phone when all my peers were getting them in the 90s. I wasn't allowed to go away for weekends with friends, and if I wanted to go out, I had to sneak out because asking for permission was a guaranteed no, just for laying some dumb examples I can think of right now. Worse, I wasn't even allowed to get a job growing up because they thought it was dangerous for me to have money. When I finally got selected by a very prestigious lawyer to work and learn with him in my 2nd semester of the university, I was thrilled. Turned out he was the best at teaching and the worst at paying, so I had no money. When I got a girlfriend, I had no money to take her out because my parents refused to give me any. Asking for the car to go see her at least at the early beginning was a sure fight. This lawyer said to me when he hired me that he needed my commitment for at least 2 years, and I said yes, but after 1 year my situation was impossible. All day between university, office, courthouse, clients, study, reports, contracts, girlfriend, friends, no money and no support, was hard, so I needed a better paying job. I got an offer from another firm and took it out of need. I still remember the face of the first lawyer when I told him. He knew about my situation and he hated my parents, but it is not like he was going to support me either. I never realized what I did until years later. When I finally managed to save up enough to buy my own car, I wasn't allowed to park it at home. In the end, I was the only one kicked out of the house. All this time, I was racking my brain trying to figure out why my family treated me this way. Despite countless attempts to expose my stepsister for the manipulative liar she was, no one ever believed me. It was like she had them all under a spell. My family was obsessed with appearances. We had to look perfect on the outside, and any issues within the family were swept under the rug. One of those hidden secrets was that my stepsister had been diagnosed with schizophrenia traits and other psychological disorders. She had even spent time in an institution, but no one in the family ever talked about it. If they didn't acknowledge it, it didn't exist, right? It drove me insane. Fast forward 30 years, and I've distanced myself from my family for my own sanity. I'm living a peaceful life with my wife and daughters. Meanwhile, the devil is still single at 40, living with, and fully supporting, a broke 60-year-old divorced man with a 6-year-old daughter. This guy has no money, yet she's chosen to take care of him. It's baffling, but also so on brand for her. About 2 years ago, my mom and stepfather asked me for legal advice about their will and estate planning. They wanted to make sure everything was in order for when they passed away. The relationship between us had become cordial at best, but I agreed to help. Then, as always, the devil found out. She completely lost her mind, accusing my mom of trying to rob her of her inheritance. She claimed that because she was the only real daughter, she should be the sole heir. To her, my brothers and I were nothing but thieves trying to take what was rightfully hers. She swore she would destroy us all, my mom, my brothers, and me. Then things got darker. She started spreading vicious rumors within the extended family. She accused my older brother of abusing her when we were younger, around 20 years ago, and she claimed that I had molested 2 of our cousins. She even hinted that my own daughters were in danger around me. Naturally, this caused a huge stir, and my step-uncle, the father of one of the cousins I supposedly molested, was ready to kill me. I'm pretty sure the only thing that stopped him was the fact that we live in different countries. At this point, I knew things were about to spiral out of control. Some of my darkest secrets were at risk of being exposed. So, I decided to get ahead of it. I took my wife and drove to my parents' house. I sat them down and told them everything, every embarrassing detail. I told them about my attraction to trans women, my secret kisses with one of the cousins I supposedly molested. We were teenagers and were not even family. We were introduced and told that from now on we were cousins, I mean Simon. Plus nothing inappropriate ever happened. I told them about my occasional smoking habits, knowing full well how deeply religious my parents are. We're talking Opus Dei level here, so even the mention of weed was a bombshell. So I put out my whole past in front of my parents and wife, every embarrassing detail, in order for the devil to have no more weapons. This was tough, I'm not gonna lie. I ended up in the hospital a couple of days later, almost dying from pancreatitis due to the toll this took on my body. I laid everything on the table, and to my surprise, they believed me. The devil had tormented them for so long that they finally started to see the truth. They realized that maybe I wasn't the problem after all. It only took them 30 years, right? They asked me what they should do. At this point in my life, I have dealt with my more than fair share of abusers. My dad began before dying when I was 3 to 4 years old, so I tell them that if they really want the truth to come out, they must not engage with her, let her feel and think that her attacks are not working. We agree that I will tell all my brothers and half-brothers about the situation, and tell them they have to do the same. I told them not to engage with her. Let her self-destruct. The more we ignored her, the more desperate she would become. And eventually, she'd make a mistake without any of us doing anything directly to her, so she cannot play the victim role. Important here also to note that, as you can imagine, nobody outside the immediate family would ever believe us, since she has always maintained this impeccable image and never, ever, ever, had made a mistake, but this time I just know she will, so we put it in motion. We don't talk to anyone, not even my stepfather's brother who wants to kill me. We deny nothing, we engage in nothing. The devil is constantly saying that she will go public and so but never does, as it is obvious because abusers never do, since doing so would cause them to lose that power over you. For 2 years, we didn't engage. We stayed silent. The devil was left ranting and raving to herself. No one responded, no one gave her any attention. I knew it was killing her. Then 2 weeks ago, one of my stepbrothers got married, and we all attended the wedding. We hadn't seen each other in a while, and the devil assumed my wife and my brother's wife were still in the dark about everything. She thought my brothers were clueless too. She couldn't have been more wrong. At the wedding, no one greeted her. No one acknowledged her broke sugar daddy either. Tons of pictures were taken, but in most of them, she and her boyfriend were conveniently cut out. The next day, she finally snapped and made her first mistake ever. She texted my wife, ranting about how I was a terrible person, a danger to our daughters, saying we will never speak again, telling her about the horrible human being I am, what a limited and traitorous man I am, and offering to tell her the truth about me when she felt strong and ready. She thought she was dropping a nuke into my marriage. My wife, of course, already knew everything. She finally showed all her true colors there out of desperation, putting out a part of herself that she never revealed in public before. So, obviously, After spending time on Reddit, I know what to do next. I screenshotted that text and sent it to our extended family group chat. The one with all the cousins, uncles, and everyone else. I finally exposed her after 30+ years, publicly confronting her and asking her to tell everyone the truth she kept threatening to reveal. She then made her second mistake. She replied in the group chat, totally gaslighting me. She downplayed everything, claiming I was making a big scene and that I was always overreacting, saying how I am making such a huge scandal as usual, and how I always have been like this, how my reaction is completely unjustified, and that I should stop doing shows and performances and grow up. You can imagine the rest. Then she made her third mistake. She texted my wife again, asking her to delete my crazy messages and saying that she only wanted to clear everything up without drama and that there is absolutely no justification for how I acted. I of course screenshotted that text too and sent it to the group chat. I told her we would never have a private conversation again, and invited her to share her truth with the whole family. I think that's when she fully grasped the concept that she was in the extended family group chat, and not the immediate family chat, stepfather, mom and siblings, she was used to manipulating. She realized she had just exposed herself in front of the whole family. It's been 2 weeks, and the group chat is dead silent. My mom called me afterward. She said, "I think I'm realizing I may have been wrong about you for almost your entire life. But you forgive me, right?" I don't even know how to respond to that. After 30 years of being the scapegoat, the black sheep, I finally exposed the person who tormented me. It almost cost me everything, but it was worth it. And for the first time in my life, I feel safe. I never realized I didn't know how safe felt. I don't know how to move forward, especially with my family, and them beginning to see me differently for the first time in my life, and also I am not sure I even want a deep relationship at this point. Thanks for reading me. I would love to read comments and suggestions. I must clarify that, despite several differences with stepfather growing up, damn it was brutal, to this day our relationship is close to beautiful. At the wedding he told me he loved me for the first time ever and I cried like a little kid. Not there but later. I must also clarify that I am not judging anyone for anything, and I am and have been always responsible for my actions and how to handle this and my life, and I am not playing victim of the dice. I am just trying to tell it as I lived it and as objective as possible. I also do not hold a grudge with mom, nor do I carry with me a list of her mistakes. She did what she had to do being a single mother of 3 trying to survive, and did what she best knew to do. I don't hold anything against her and we have a cordial relationship and see each other every once in a while for family meals, where only mom, stepfather, older brother, and younger half-brothers attend. When stepsister is in town there are no family meals. And I attend mostly because of the girls, so they can have a relationship with their cousins and grandparents. Situations of the past about us do not need to affect them, and the relationship between them, my girls and the rest of the family is always strictly supervised by my wife and I. Also, wife is my angel, she is an angel, she is just precious. I can't begin to describe how grateful I am to her. I deeply love her and we have built something beautiful over the years. Not easy, not for everyone, but beautiful. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Reddit stories. See you in the next one.